We want to begin this case with our deepest condolences for Mengqi Ji's family. We hope that this finds them in a better place, and we want to let them know that their daughter will never be forgotten. Columbia, Missouri, October 8, 2019. A distraught man calls 911 to report a missing person. The caller is Joe Elledge. He tells the dispatcher he woke up and found his wife was gone, but she left everything behind: her phone, her wedding ring, and her car keys. Sounds familiar, right? Almost like the Adam Chase case I covered. Joe gives the name of his wife, Mengqi Ji Elledge. He says she is of Asian descent, specifically Chinese. Officers are dispatched to Joe's home to take a report and begin their investigation. When they arrive, Joe would welcome them in and bring them straight to Mengqi's computer. There he shows them a message between his wife and a man in China, a secret lover. Joe also provides her journal, which talks about how she no longer loves him and that she is trying to cut off communication with the man from overseas for the sake of her daughter. But Mengqi's friends aren't buying it. They say she'd never leave her daughter behind. She adores that child, not to mention she's breastfeeding. No mother who is breastfeeding just walks away from her baby. It didn't add up. A search is launched around the college campus and the nearby neighborhoods, but Mengqi is nowhere to be found. Her parents fly in from China, devastated. Her mother, Kay-Ren, says they spoke daily, and the silence is now deafening. Something is definitely wrong. When Kay-Ren arrived at the family apartment, things got even stranger. Joe wouldn't let her in, and his mother is acting even more suspicious than Joe. And when Joe goes on the local news to plead for help, he seems more focused on throwing Mengqi under the bus than finding her. He casually mentions her supposed affair and comes across eerily upbeat.
She was a great mother the whole way, and even the night that I took her to the hospital, like the song that I first met her was playing when I first met her, and it was just an amazing night. And Anna came out, and she was, she held her for the first time, and it was just a really amazing feeling. And ever since then, she's been a great mom, like the best mom ever. Okay.
So what do you think about the fact that she left behind her wallet and everything? Not her wallet, her passport and her phone.
So that stuff is very weird to me. I know she was talking to somebody else on the side, and I didn't know that until after she had left. But whatever she's doing, I just hope she's safe, and I really hope that she can, find herself and come back to me and Anna, and we can just have a big long talk, and that's all we need. But we can work things out. I think she's just confused and maybe scared. And I don't know if she felt alone, but I just really want her to come back. And it does worry me that she doesn't have any of that stuff. I just hope that she's safe. I hope that she's at least with somebody who cares for her, enough to keep her safe.
His lawyer will later claim the smiles were from nerves. Now, I'm not here to play sides, but y'all tell me, does that sound like a husband who was worried sick? Columbia has a large community of Asian students that rally together to search for Mengqi, determined to not let her become another statistic. But 5 days would go by and still no sign. And that's when detectives bring Joe in for a questioning. First, they ask to download the contents of his phone, and Joe agrees. Then they sit him down and listen to his story. He says he woke up in the middle of the night to hear baby Anna crying. When he reached over for Mengqi, she wasn't there. He got up and noticed her phone, ring, and car keys were on the nightstand. He claimed she told him the night before she was going to meet someone in the morning, but when asked who, she didn't give an answer. Later that day, Joe would say he took Anna for a drive around the neighborhood. Same story he gave to the officers at the house, but detectives start to notice cracks. He describes the drive as relaxing. What strikes one detective as odd: "Your wife is missing, and you're taking a relaxing drive?" he asks. That doesn't make any sense. Then comes the direct question, did you kill your wife? Joe would quietly say no. When you left the apartment, did you lock the door? Joe would say yes. Then how was she supposed to get back in if her keys are in the house and the door's locked? Joe has no answer. Did you leave her a note? I didn't think about it, he would say. And then the detective says something everyone is thinking. You knew she wasn't coming back. The interview ends, and now, instead of answers, the detectives are left with more questions. The police would get information from Joe's cell phone showing his whereabouts during the drive, and one location he left out was near the Liminal River. With Joe leaving this out, the police theorized Mengqi's body may be in the river. Mengqi's parents would come forward with more disturbing information. Photos that Mengqi sent her mother documenting the abuse of their 1-year-old daughter, Anna. That was enough for the police to arrest Joe on child abuse, and on October 25, 2019, they moved in. Joe was found with his mother in a fully packed vehicle, apparently preparing to leave town. Police searched for 5 months after Mengqi's disappearance. They even built a dam to lower the water around the bridge. Cadaver dogs would pick up on a scent of a body nearby, giving investigators hope. While searching for the remains, the detectives kept compiling evidence about the relationship between Joe and Mengqi. It appeared Joe had been both verbally and physically abusive towards her and Anna. It also seemed like Joe no longer respected or appreciated Mengqi's culture. The big break came when they accessed Mengqi's computer, where they would find secret audio recordings she had made of Joe belittling her. 14 hours of audio captured Joe expressing disdain, aggression, and threats. In one clip, he would say he didn't want to be married to her anymore, and he wanted a divorce before the semester ended. In another, more chilling, he would say he wanted to put her under the dirt. He even threatened her with deportation, telling her Anna belonged to him. The recordings painted a terrifying picture, a woman trapped, documenting her abuser in secret, trying to protect herself and her child. Though Mengqi's body hadn't been found, her mother, Karen, was taken to the area near the river, where the police believed her remains had been dumped. It was an emotional attempt at closure. In February of 2020, prosecutors charged Joe Elledge with the murder, despite not having any body. The case was built on strong, circumstantial evidence. Police also raided Joe's apartment and collected muddy boots and clothes that he wore that night. Joe now faced first-degree murder and child abuse charges, but the trial was delayed due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Then just 3 months before the trial, a hiker stumbled upon something deep in the woods, a human skull. It was far from where the investigators had focused their searches, but this discovery would change everything. The leading theory was that Mengqi was in the trunk of Joe's car the morning that he went for that drive. It had rained heavily that day, and the spot where Mengqi's body was found was thick with mud. That reminded the investigators of the extremely muddy boots they had pulled from Joe's apartment. Forensics tested them, and the soil embedded in the soles matched exactly the location where Mengqi's grave was. What was once a circumstantial case now had damning forensic evidence. The case wasn't just broadcast in America, it gained attention in China too, due to Mengqi's heritage. Joe's attorney made a bold move, and he would put Joe on the stand. It's rare in murder trials, but this was their strategy. The prosecution would open by painting Mengqi as a devoted mother and playing the haunting audio of the recordings she made of her final months. They also played clips from Joe's news interview and interrogation, each one raising red flags, but their crown jewel was the soil sample, the exact match between Joe's boots and the gravesite. Joe's defense argued that Mengqi's death was an accident. During the trial, a medical examiner testified that Mengqi had 4 broken ribs and that her cause of death was homicide. Then Joe took the stand. He claimed that he and Mengqi got into an argument that turned physical. She shoved him, and he would shove her back. He said she hit the counter and got more upset, and she charged him. He pushed her again, and this time she hit her head on the kitchen floor. He claimed he felt the impact shake the apartment. According to Joe, Mengqi seemed fine afterwards, and they went to bed, but around 5 a.m., he checked his phone reached over and realized she was cold. Joe's attorney ended with a calculated question. "Did you tell this to anyone before today?" Joe answered, "Just you, my lawyer." That was his attorney's way of shielding Joe from follow-up questions under attorney-client privilege. Closing arguments were made. The jury deliberated for 7 hours. Joe Elledge was found guilty of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 28 years in prison. Later, he pled guilty to 3 counts of child abuse. This case just goes to show you never truly know someone. That's not to say don't trust, but live your life with discernment. We once again want to send our wishes to the family of Mengqi Ji. Until next time, watch your backs.